Alright everybody, what are we doing today? Today we're going to replace the ignition coils and the spark plugs in this beautiful DB11. Now, let's unwrap some beauty and have some fun. I love this little car cover. Alright, now we're going to be really careful not to wipe the door on that. Ask me how I know. Not on this car, but on another one. That has been done. That has been done. So, let's get the bonnet open and talk about how this is going to work out. So, it's pretty straightforward, actually. Not the hardest. It's just a little involved. I mean, here I get this little plastic guy up here. They just kind of pull up, but there is underneath there. This thing always reconnects to the stinking. Oh, so frustrating how this thing just automatically connects to the Android audio thing that I put in when the car's not even on. I didn't ask it to. It just did it. Otherwise, I love being able to use my phone through the car, but golly, it's annoying. Yeah, there's a little zip tie under here that's kind of holding this thing on. Well, to one of the wires. So. Oh, no, not this one. It's the other side then. There we are. That's easy. So, there's one coil, obviously. It's V12, 6 of them on this side, 6 on the other side. According to the manual, none of these funky hoses need to come off. It'd be pretty straightforward if it wasn't for this beautiful crush brace. So crush brace has got to come off. All right, 8 bolts holding that thing on. There's 3 here. There's 3 over there. There's 6. Oh man, that only leaves 2 according to the book. But they're behind there. Alrighty. So how do we get to those? All right. Here's the more challenge. I think the most challenging part of this is going to be taking this plastic cowl thing off. So first things first, we're going to get the windshield wipers off. So we'll do that off camera. And then this thing says, according to the manual, there's some clips down here to release it. And then there are clips along the top side, I believe. So that right there is going to be the biggest challenge of this job. Throttle body, going to be pretty straightforward. We got this little fella here, these 4 bolts, and there's an electrical connector under there. It'll be a little bit easier once this is out of the way. I'm going to try and mount the phone up to the bonnet here and record this. I am no videographer. I am no video editor. I'm a mechanic. So we'll see how this works out. I'm going to do my best to go through it. And hey, a shout out to the 6-Speed online forum and Ultramarine for doing this and posting it about doing it on his Rapide. And I believe he was inspired by Mr. Steve over at Aston 1936, who did it on his DB9. They're very, very similar. Coil packs are the same, plugs are the same, access is different. Those V12 versions require the intake manifolds to come off. Thankfully, this V12 version doesn't. So, like I said, biggest pain in the ass in this is not even going to be getting the crush brace off, really, but it's getting access to get the crush brace off. So, well, let's go talk about the plugs, coils that we're going to be using for this. And the manual does say to replace these bolts, and we'll talk about that real quick. And then we'll go over the cost of this to do it yourself. All right, here's everything that we need for this job. We need 3 packs of 4 spark plugs, and I bought 3 packs of 4 ignition coils. Obviously, that is not Aston Martin. We need 2 of those O-rings for the throttle bodies, 2 of those O-rings for the throttle bodies. We need 8 of these bolts. Comes in a pack of 10. You can see it has this thread locker on it, and that's probably why Aston says replace the bolts. Could you put thread lock on the old ones and reuse them? Yeah, that'd be your decision. I'm just telling you what the book says. So, really, so much thanks to Ultramarine for throwing the information on 6-Speed Online, because I used that as my research. So these ignition coils, I pulled one out before I did this and made sure that it was the same. Same with the spark plug. So here you can see it's the NGK 94949. All right, so interestingly enough, this SITR7A11G, and that is what's on the plug. That is that sitter number is what's on the original plug that's in the car. There is an additional number to it, and we'll talk about that. That number I couldn't use to cross-reference, but this sitter number I did, and it came up to this 94949. I got this from I believe ML Performance, which is over in Britain, I believe. But they are NGKs. Obviously, they are OE or OEM, whatever. They're just not from Aston. So it was $154 for all 12 plugs. About $675 for all of the ignition coils, and I ordered some additional parts, but this is really only like $90 in parts right here from the dealer. Scuderia is who I ordered this stuff from. I got a couple extra parts from them besides just that, but my total for all of this, oh yeah, and it was $73. So it was $154, $155 for the spark plugs, and then $73 to ship them. I may have even had to pay an import tax, I don't remember. But based on what I have down here in front of me, about $978. So here's the part numbers from Scuderia. There you can see 2 limo rings, pretty reasonable, right? $12, $13 for 2 of them. These other 2, which I'm going to assume are those orange ones, they're extremely special because those come out to about $57. There's some other stuff that I ordered, but there's that 10 pack of bolts that for the crush brace, and I gotta be honest, that's pretty reasonable. Honestly, $19 for that pack of 10 bolts. You know, given Aston tax and all, why those big O-rings right there are worth $57, and those 2 little bitty ones are worth, you know, $13. I can't tell you, but there are the part numbers. You need to pause this and get all that. There you go. So those 3 bits right there are the only things that I ordered from the dealer. Everything else, you know, you can find. All right, so the ignition coils. Yeah, thankfully other people have done the research. These are the same 3-pin ignition coils that come on the, you know, the earlier V12s, at least like probably 2011, 2013, because they were, I did not review Steve from Aston 1936's stuff on this, but I read through what Ultramarine posted, and he had done a lot of research, and so these are MSDs. I do like MSD, but you know, there's a lot you could find Ford, because they are a Ford part. You pull the old ones out and they say Ford on them, basically. I mean, look, they're for a Ford EcoBoost. It is the same part. The only thing different is the boot. I'm gonna have to swap the boot over. So come in a very big recyclable box. Now once we get out there and we get these out, I'll show you the difference. It's this. This is what we got to swap over. This little upstairs part, the business end of this fucker, this guy. I didn't do that. I did do that. Yeah, the business end of this fella. That's what I meant to say, fella. Yeah, business end of this fella. That's identical. That's it. It's this, the boot that connects, and the one in the Aston's longer. So we're just going to swap them over, because I don't know if I could get one off with one hand. I mean, these are new, so it should come off. Shouldn't be stuck on there. Let's see. There we are. Yeah. See, that little guy comes right on off, and that's it. I mean, this is the business end, right? That's it. That's exactly what we're replacing. So we're just going to take these off of the old ones, which may be a little stuck because they are about 7 years old. This is 2017 and this is 2025, beginning of 25. They may be pushing 8. Even, honestly, could be pushing closer to 8. So, but it's only 17,500 miles in the car. So, you know, why am I really doing this? Well, I got a little paranoid watching a little Bamford Rose stuff talking about misfires on the V12s. Now, granted, this one's a turbo, and I don't know if those were turbos he was talking about, but he talks about how the pre-cat is just so close to the exhaust port, and misfires lead to unburnt fuel, which leads to that fuel then igniting on the face of the pre-cat and being reingested back into the engine, which does some damage. Do I have access to an AMDS2 to scan the car to know whether or not there are or are not misfires? No, I do not. But I do feel, I can feel them. I can feel that there's a little miss in it at times, and it is not really idling like a V12 really should. So this is my suspect. Remember, these V12s also did have a point in time where they were getting water from rain or washing whatever into the coils and burning out the coil. So I don't know if any of those have been done on this car. I haven't had this car that long. And I do have the little plastic diversion things in the hood, bonnet thingy, to try and prevent that, but you never know, there's a chance. And I'm a mechanic at heart, so I'm all about some preventative maintenance and keeping my cars running well. So I'm going to go ahead and do this because I don't have a check engine light on, and according to Bamford Rose, a lot of those cars that had serious misfire conditions at certain operating parameters never triggered the car's misfire alarm in the ECU to even trigger a light on the dash. So, but they definitely caused some serious damage to some engines. So we don't need that. Well, I don't need that. I don't really want it to go through that. And I really want to keep the car for a while. I really like it, and I want to keep her driving nice and healthy. So maybe we got to call this part 1, because this is going to be a little bit. All right, so here, we're going to call this part 1. Part 2, we'll get out there and we'll start taking some stuff apart. We'll see you on the next one.